What's up, Tribe? It's Kai, and welcome back to another episode of Open Therapy. Thank you for the support on episode 1. I feel like that episode was solid. I feel like the support was great. Just the messages that I've received personally through DMs and such about how the episode resonated with everyone, and it feels good, when you're doing something that means something to you and people show up and join in on that conversation. That feels good to me. So I just want to say thank you. I mean, it's just one episode, but I think that's amazing. When you grow up, you want to be an independent woman and you don't need no man. And mommy has been very, very concerned about this perspective that you've kind of carried through. I don't know, is this still your perspective today at 13? The intention is to post a new episode every Thursday. What day is it today? Thursday. When was our first episode? Last week, Thursday. Give me a clap. This is something that I really want to be intentional about being consistent with. So I'm happy that I'm showing up today. Am I tired? Sure. But we're doing this because Tribe team. We have things to talk about. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So in this episode, this is a special episode because it's a very special guest. Yeah, I'm actually speaking with my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, who I spoke about in the last episode. If you watched that one, if you haven't watched it, please pause this, go back, look for episode 1. It's such a great episode and conversation, and it sets a base for this one, I think. So in this episode, I really wanted to get an understanding of what I'm modeling for my daughter in terms of love and relationships, her perspective on love and relationships, and how I show up in terms of independence versus hyper independence, which we'll discuss in a little bit. How this is affecting her perspective of what love is, what a relationship is, and what she wants in her life eventually. It's been a deep concern for several years. I don't know why, but I worry. I feel bad that I just haven't been able to figure out my stuff so that I can bring a good example of what that looks like for her as she grows up, I only have 5 or 6 more good years of giving her good examples and of showing her something for a good foundation before she's 18, 19 and out of my house. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so these are the kind of things that I think about and I worry about, and this is the first time we've had this kind of conversation. We've spoken, in passing, because I'm very inquisitive and very blunt and direct with certain things. So, we've spoken about crushes, what kind of crushes you have, what kind of, do you like anybody, who do you like, what do you think about love, what do you think about relationships. They're in her future. I make that clear. She's too young to date, absolutely. But I know I've been a 13-year-old girl, so I know what it feels like to be a 13-year-old girl. I think I had my first boyfriend at 13. Don't tell her. But I know what happens around this time. So I think I'm just trying to keep the lines of communication as open as possible and not be naive to what's possible right now, and just make sure that we have a good understanding, make sure that she knows that it's okay not to be in a relationship, even if she's the only person in her friend group that isn't in one. It's okay to just talk to people and have friendships and get to know people as she's growing older, until she feels ready. So that is really my focus. The development of her self-esteem, the development of her identity, and a firm understanding of herself. Yeah. Hi, Meg.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Vikaya and I'm her daughter. This is my mom.
Correct. This is the 13-year-old that I was talking to you guys about. I figured we would rap a little bit about what I was sharing in the previous clips, just to see her take on how I show up as her mom, and what kind of impact this is having on her perspective on relationships in general, what kind of impact the relationship I have with her father has on her perspective of relationships in general. So, yeah, Mix. Just so I know that you're understanding what this conversation is about, what do you think it means to be in love with somebody? What do you understand that to mean? Let's just see where your head's at.
I don't really know how to explain it, but I think it's when you find someone that you want to, like, be with for the rest of your life.
Wow. That's intense. For the rest of your life.
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, that's if that's your understanding, that's your understanding. That's a good starting definition. But I think what you'll find as you get older is that you can fall in love with somebody and you don't end up spending the rest of your life with them. I would hope that you have an understanding that at some point your dad and I was in a relationship and we were very much in love, but you know that your dad and I are not together right now.
Yeah.
Right. So that should give you some insight on, how your definition might change a little. Right? But tell me what you think about the relationship I have with your father. Like, how did you think about it when you were younger? Because we broke up many years ago. I don't know how you remember it. But he is still present in your life, in our life. And I just want to kind of get an understanding of how you see that relationship, your father and I.
Well, when I was younger, I knew that you weren't together anymore, but I would really want you guys to be together. So, like, sometimes I would make you guys hold hands. Yeah. But, now that I'm older, I kind of realized that you guys weren't gonna get back together.
What made you realize that?
I think I just got older, and I think I started noticing more things.
What kind of things?
Like, you guys have a lot of disagreements. And you also have just very different views of life.
Right. So you kind of surmised on your own that maybe mommy and daddy are not going to be together in the long run. Okay. I don't know what kind of perception you could get from that statement, but just to be clear, my personality and her father's personality, there's a reason why we're not together anymore. But he's also been a friend for several years. For most of the time we're friends. You know what I mean? We talk about a lot of things. We call each other for input and advice on a lot of things. So there is a base of friendship and respect for one another, but our personalities we tend to go at each other for little things, just in a general conversation, very back and forth of just kind of like nick, right? Which is unhealthy for me, for him, and clearly for her to see. But I just want to kind of give some light to what she means by disagreements. These aren't blowout fights, these aren't physical disputes, these aren't real arguments over real things. These are a lot of just personality differences and annoyances because we get on each other's nerves. Okay? But because we weren't married when we had you, I think we were together maybe 2 years before you came along, and then together for another 2. So, and then there was a period where we were still very, very close. But the fact that we weren't married, I know that you've moved to a new school now. I know in your old school, there weren't a lot of people who didn't have married parents. What was your perspective on that? Knowing, because you always knew that we weren't married. We never lived in the same house. How did you kind of take that in and wrap your head around that, as a child? What did that mean to you that we weren't married?
Yeah, I just never really thought about it, but now that I'm at in high school, there's a lot more people with parents that are not married, and so I feel more
normal.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel normal at the other school, which is what I was wondering. You noticed that difference?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But you understand that you were born out of loving, or 2 parents that loved each other, right? Cool. Oh, true story. So, at her previous school, when she was at prep school, much younger, there was a friend of hers who told her that she was a sin. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, as parents, I urge us to do a better job of communicating to our children difference in lifestyle and choices. It can't just be, I understand that you don't want your children having children themselves out of wedlock. That's cool. If that's a part of your religious teaching, that's cool. But we have to be a little bit more inclusive and a little bit more responsible in the types of messages that we send to our children, because telling a child that she's a sin is, I feel, just wild and crazy. How dare you? But in terms of, I know when you were younger, the famous line that you used to say about when you grow up you want to be an independent woman and you don't need no man. And mommy has been very, very concerned about this perspective that you've kind of carried through. I don't know, is this still your perspective today at 13?
No.
Is it?
No.
It's changed?
Yes.
When did it change?
I don't know. I just thought, I think I just said that when I was younger because, girl power and everything.
Okay. And because probably subconsciously, not even knowing, you, I'm sure, saw your mom do everything on her own.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a man in the house since you were born, really. Your dad comes and goes. I have friends now and then who come and go, but there's been no one who has lived here with us. It's always just been you and I. So I think I worried some that I was modeling to you that you don't need partnership, that you don't need someone, which is definitely not true, right? But I'm happy to know that it's changed. So what's the new perspective? You want a husband and 9 kids?
Well, I want a husband but not 9 kids. I want either 0, 1, or 2, or 3.
Okay. Cool. Right. Do I consider myself an independent person? Sure. I'm a textbook introvert. I definitely believe in self-reliance and independence. And I think that I was raised that way. And I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, I'm still trying to figure that out. That is how I'm raising my child, to be self-reliant. But I'm conscious of my own problems with this independence, now leaning more to hyper independence. So I try to mix in the importance of partnership, of interdependence, of, community, of working together, and how great that can be. Yes, you should and can do it on your own, but you really shouldn't have to all the time. And it's okay to rely on another human being, and it's okay to build trust with another human being. So I'm trying to do my best in teaching her this when these are still lessons and still concepts that I'm trying to learn in my own life. When I looked up what hyper independence was, this is what it says. It's a term often linked to trauma. So it describes an extreme form of self-reliance where individuals compulsively avoid relying on others for support or assistance, even when needed, potentially leading to social isolation and difficulty trusting others. Listen, I mean, we may have to do a whole separate episode on hyper independence only. So, you said that when you were younger, you used to have me that hold hands and whatever, and wanted us to be together. How do you think your life would have been different if we had stayed together?
Well, I feel like with me living with Daddy, I wouldn't be allowed to do some of the things that I'm allowed to do now.
Oh boy, don't get me in trouble. What kind? All right, we're not even going into specifics.
Not like that.
Okay. You just feel like it would have been a different upbringing.
Yes.
Okay, nothing else? You don't think there's anything else that would have been different?
We would be vegan.
Really?
Well,
I mean, it's a fair assumption.
No, because it would be really awkward because he's vegan and we're just eating meat like right in front of him.
It's okay. Perhaps. I don't know. Yeah, your dad met me not vegan. I was not vegan during our relationship, so. Well, it's a fair assumption to make. Maybe if we had gotten married, I don't know if those lifestyles would have kind of blended. Okay, so you just think about like how you'd eat and how you would, the rules that you have, nothing else. So you don't feel like there's anything that you're missing out on? Not having us married and together? It may be different.
Yeah, it will be different, but
you can't see what the differences are right now, or what the differences would be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you sound content with your life.
Yeah.
How do you feel about mommy being in a relationship one day?
Me personally.
Look to the camera. You personally?
Yeah, me personally, it would take a long time to get comfortable with them, and I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't be like fully comfortable with them unless it's someone that I really, really like.
Interesting. A long time.
Well, not that long, but pretty.
It would take some time for you to be comfortable. That's fair. That's understandable. Okay. Because this really came out of mommy's worry that you weren't really seeing the value in partnership and the value possible in, marriage, because I haven't been married, because it's just been me and you. And I guess I've just been worried about how you view relationships and how you view love, and if I've been modeling something that isn't what I would like for you to aspire to. So I guess we can wrap it with just your perspective on relationships in the future. You're not dating now. You're very young. Mm-hmm. You're 13. You mean maybe when you're 32, you'll start.
32?
I don't know. We don't know the age. I'm sure that's when your dad would like you to start. But, you know, in the future, what kind of relationship do you want for yourself?
I think just a very understanding, loyal, loving, fun relationship.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you said that you understood that mom and dad's relationship was different than your friends when you were younger at school, because a lot of your friends had married parents at the time. But another layer of difference was, it's no secret that your mom and dad are not the same age or within the same age groups. I don't know how else to put that. I mean, there's a gap between your ages. You're very aware of that. When do you remember noticing that we were different than other people in terms of that? All right, more to come on this in a conversation with her father on this topic coming up in the next episode, so please stay tuned. Thanks, Mickey. Love you.